I will now call the formal meeting of the City Council to order. Would the City Clerk please call the roll?
Councilman DeCiccio. Councilman Nowakowski. Councilwoman Pastor. Councilwoman Stark. Councilman Valenzuela. Councilman Waring. Councilwoman Williams.
Here.
Vice Mayor Gallego. Mayor Stanton.
I am here. We have an interpreter, Ms. Holm, here with us today. Please introduce yourself.
Buenas tardes, me llamo Judy, soy intérprete de español. Si alguien necesita el equipo, por favor venga conmigo o con el personal de la ciudad. Gracias.
Thank you very much. We'll now move on to citizen comments. Citizens have up to 3 minutes to address this City Council on any subject matter they would like. We have up to 15 minutes for those citizen comments. If there are additional cards at the end, we'll have additional citizen comment at the end of the meeting. The first card is Mr. Leonard Clark. Mr. Clark, did you provide up to 3 minutes of testimony before the City Council?
Thank you, Mayor and Council members. My name is Leonard Clark. I'm a resident of Phoenix, was born in Phoenix, and I just wanted to say I read the mayor's article in the Arizona Republic on how the state of Arizona, well, certain individuals that run us politically are becoming bullies. Now, I'm not saying he said that, but I agree with him totally. The state of Arizona, whether it's a city saying that we want to have our own ID card, whether we want to say no more plastic bags at our shopping centers, we want less pollution, we want our city to be less dirty. Every time when you go to the state legislature, they are quick to pull out their big club and hit the cities over the head, you know, like they're doing with the city of Tucson, who, when they get weapons that are taken in the commission of a crime, want to melt them down. Oh my God. So now, you know, threatening to sue the city of Tucson, threatening to sue the cities, because we are so gerrymandered. This is the only place we can get anything done. Here we have more bipartisanship than we ever had at the state legislature. So I agree with the mayor. I agree with you, Mayor, because it is one thing to constantly quote the state constitution of Arizona and say, well, we always have total power over the political subdivisions of the cities. But you know, the citizens, we should get together. We should change our state constitution. It's not so hard. Every time they want to change it to the state legislature, they have a referendum and they get their way. So why don't we citizens get together, all of the cities, and finally stand together and get an initiative together and limit the state constantly hitting us over the head with a club. They do the same thing with the federal government. They complain how the federal government oversteps its bounds. But we can't even pass an ordinance to melt down guns that are used in the commission of a crime. They come down here and tell us how to run. I elected you. I didn't elect the state legislators to run my city. You can run my districts. Now, another thing, the plumbing in the cities. I've noticed a lot of my neighbors having backups in certain neighborhoods, and then we're told we have to pay if you have to construct, you know, come out and dig into the street. I want to know what's going on civil engineering-wise. I want to hear from somebody about why it's always our fault when our plumbing lines plug up, but it seems like then they mysteriously go away. I saw some City of Phoenix people working on an emergency project in the street with a neighbor, and then suddenly our plumbing problems went away. I want to know from a civil engineering standpoint on that. But again, I just want to reiterate, you know, the state of Arizona, not the state of Arizona, we have a beautiful state, but some people who want to be bullies in the state legislature have got to get off our backs like a big gorilla bullying us. They've bullied us for too long. If we want to melt down guns that are used in the commission of a crime, tough, you know, if you don't like that, then there's nothing that, you know, really we can agree on that. And the same thing with plastic bags. And one last thing. You guys are going to be voting on a measure for Head Start, early Head Start. Totally agree with that, and I hope that you'll vote in favor of that. And maybe the governor, who wants to have full-day kindergarten in some areas of the inner city that are low income, maybe we could work with Head Start. I know that the governor, you can do this. You seem to work with the cities, and that's what I ask that you do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Next speaker, Ms. Diane Barker.
Thank you, Acting Chairman Danny Valenzuela and City Council. Diane Barker, I'm in District 7, and I've got the mantra, what do we do on Mondays? We get out. Phoenix Fit Fitness, we get out to downtown Phoenix, and I'm challenging all of you in your New Year resolutions. I imagine you have some fitness there, and maybe even your health plans will help you out, if you have fitness. But earn your shirt. Just 10 times. We've got 52 weeks in the year. It doesn't matter if it's a holiday or the weather. We're downtown Phoenix over at Copper Blues presently. And Monday was my 90th time. I do live downtown, but I do walk and bike, and I use the bus. I ride share, I try to do it all. I like to hear from your perspectives too, whether it's mode or politics. There shouldn't be discrimination. We should have democracy. Even our outgoing president said that, and it's the year of the citizens. The citizens, if you're not doing anything, you're not doing your duty, because all of these persons that got in by the vote of people, the fact is they've sworn to serve you, citizens, and we need you. We need you to get out downtown, and we know you can do it. And so the other thing is I went to Mark Harmon's sustainability, and it's going through all the departments, their values. They're ambitious. For 2012, globally, they want emissions cut down by half. So that means that the green team, that you have representatives in your department, are really active to see that those values are being enacted. As far as we're also going into the county, we'd like to have the Board of Supervisors that tell us to cut down on pollution to actually put on their website when they road share, because that is something that Maricopa Association government, of which Phoenix is half of, is to support. So our officials who are leaders should model the way. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Barker. Next speaker, Mr. Pat Venn, followed by Mr. John Rusnick.
Yes, good afternoon. Is this thing working or not? Good afternoon. I've been missing in action for a month or so, but I'm back in shape again, so I'm down here to get some answers. I sent out some emails starting a couple days ago to a Phoenix detective that came to my house in 2014 because they thought I was too mean, I guess, telling me that we don't have freedom of speech in the city of Phoenix, Arizona. So rather than really laying it into you, I would like to have someone admit, or not admit, but make a meeting for myself, John, and Diane Rusnick to have a meeting soon. I don't mean in 6 months from now, but I mean in this next week. So can I ask that, or is Ed Zerker going to sleep over there? Are you paying attention, Ed?
Mr. Venn, this is just public comment, so
You're telling me what? I don't have a right to speak or ask a damn question? I'm getting ticked off here, and I don't know how much more I can stand. That's what I told Chad Dennison in my emails. How much does a citizen expect to take from you bunch of crooks? I tried to be nice, but you don't want me to be nice, so I'm going to be as bad as I can get. You're a bunch of damn crooks. The city managers, the past two that we had, Frank Fairbanks and Ed Zerker's now, but he's a crook too. David Cavazos. And look what you did to Jerome Miller. You killed him. Yes, you did. Yes, you killed him. You put a pressure on his back. And I'm getting that pressure on my back. But I'm not going to kill myself. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do. But I'm telling you, you better start paying damn attention, because the city of Phoenix citizens, which is I am one, and everybody here is one, is who you work for. You understand that? Just because you were elected by the people, don't say that the people don't still control you, or that you're supposed to think. You know, you have a brain supposedly in your head. I'm just wondering sometime if you do. If you ever read the city charter, you got a surprise coming, because what it says, you in all your almighty have no right to speak to any city employee about work ethics. That is a disaster all by itself. So I want to have somebody, starting with the mayor, all city council persons, because you all have a vote, not just the city council person that happens to be in my district, but all of you have a right to speak, and I have a right to speak, and I'm getting goddamn pissed off. So you better start paying attention, because I don't know how much more I can take.
Thank you, Mr.
So am
Bank.
I going to have a meeting or not?
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Bank. Your 3 minutes is up. It's good to see you, by the way. It's been a while, and I appreciate you coming back to provide us testimony in today's meeting. Mr. John Rusnick is the next speaker. Mr. Rusnick, you are up, followed by Mr. James Deibler. Good to see you, Mr. Rusnick.
I'm John Rusnick, and I'd like to read you something that it says zoning information guide, request for use of alternative dust-proofing materials. And on here it says, these types of dust-proofing applications shall be treated with a dust palliative such as marlow, soil sediment, or similar environmental friendly products. I got two work orders here. They gave them the 1/4 to 3/4 decomposed granite, 3 to 5 inches area sealed, and they used Technosoil on the driveway. Then I got another one here, same thing. It says, use 2 inches of crushed rock, gravel, 1/4, 3/4, and treated with Gorilla Knot binder. That's the other product it's supposed to use. So I think on the driveway next door to me, they used the wrong rock. I can live with that. But they didn't put down the palliative treatment they were supposed to, like Gorilla Snot is one of them. The Marlow, I don't think is, and the Technosoil is the other product. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rusnick. Mr. James Deibler.
Hello. Hello, I am James Deibler. I live in Phoenix, Arizona. I am going to school at Arizona State University. I graduated from Glendale Community College with my associate in general studies. Lastly, I live in Council District 5. Yesterday, I was at Glendale City Council meeting about putting BioLife Plasma Center on 59th Avenue Barrow. The neighbors don't want the plasma center in their neighborhoods because it brings bad activity into the neighborhood. That Glendale City Council voted against the project. I know the city of Phoenix has their ordinance to protect plasma centers coming to their neighborhood. I would like to check if Phoenix has city close to follow rules which protect their neighborhood. Finally, we need a Microsoft store in the Phoenix metropolitan area to bring in new jobs. The Microsoft store will be a new addition for downtown Phoenix area or Desert Ridge Marketplace. There are a lot of customers who travel to Stockstill Fashion Square to buy a PC and mobile product from this location. It would be nice to get a Microsoft store within the city of Phoenix to help the local economy in Phoenix without travel fall to Stockstill, Arizona. Thanks for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dibler. That is all the cards we have for the citizen comment period, so we're going to move forward with our agenda. Next on the agenda, the city clerk will read the 24-hour paragraph.
The titles of the following ordinance and resolution numbers on the agenda were available to the public at least 24 hours prior to this council meeting, and therefore may be read by title or agenda item only. Ordinances number G 6250 through 6254, S 43073, and S 43124 through 43158, and resolution numbered 21507.
All right, thank you very much. Now we have meeting minutes of previous meetings for approval. Councilwoman Stark, did you have a chance to review the special meeting minutes, December 7th, 2016?
I did, and I moved to approve.
We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Is there a motion on mayor's, boards, and commission nominations as corrected?
Motion to approve mayor's, boards, and commissions nominations as corrected, except Phoenix Employment Relations Board because of Councilman Nowakowski's potential conflict. Motion.
We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Next, Vice Mayor.
Motion to approve Phoenix Employment Relations Board nominations.
We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. I believe there are citizen leaders here to be sworn in. What's that?
We have one more.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's one more nominee. I apologize. Vice Mayor.
Motion to approve city council boards and commissions nominations.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. As I mentioned earlier, there were a few citizen leaders here to be sworn in, so I'll come down on my right, your left, to swear in the citizens, and then they'll come back behind the dais so the individual council members can say thank you for your service. Please raise your right hand. I, say your name, do solemnly swear that I support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution and laws of the state of Arizona, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and defend them against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office of, according to the best of my ability. So help me God. You're official. Thank you for your service in advance. Thank you so much. Good to see you. You want to come walk back and shake hands with the All right, thank you in advance for your leadership on critically important boards and commissions. Next on our agenda is liquor license applications. Vice Mayor, do we have a motion on liquor license applications?
Motion to approve items 4 through 26.
We have a motion and a second. There are cards on this item. Our city clerk indicates that all the cards are supportive of the motion as made. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda are ordinances, resolutions, new business, and planning and zoning. Vice Mayor, do you have a chance to put together a omnibus motion, proposed omnibus?
Yes, Mayor. Motion to approve items 27 through 98, except the following. Items 27, 28, 34, 36, 38, 47, 48, 51, 60, 67, 68, 73, 74, 76, 97, and 98. Items 63 and 96 are withdrawn, and excluding these items for public comment. 27, 29, 34, 39, 58, 60, 97, 98. And on item 28 is being held. We do have one person who wishes not to speak.
All right, that is the omnibus motion. Is there a second? There's a motion and a second. Any additional comments or questions from members of this council? Roll call.
DeCiccio.
Yes.
Nowakowski.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Stark. Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes. This item passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item number 27. Is there a motion on 27?
We just voted on it.
Second.
We have a motion in favor of 27. We have a second. Mr. Leonard Clark, did you provide testimony on item 27?
So what did we just vote on?
Thanks, Mayor and council members. My name is Leonard Clark, and it looks like you might have worked out. I'm not sure if this is the one that was tabled before several meetings back, but I'm glad. It seems like, it looks like you're going to vote all in favor of it. I know that when we spend sums of money to be in the cities, leagues, and towns, and the association that helps cities have a little bit more influence, I think that some people's eyebrows are lifted when we pay a little bit money to be in this. So I hope you'll vote for it. We do need it. We need to be represented, again, because if the state legislature has its way, they'll be coming down here as they do in Michigan, running everything, and our votes won't count for anything. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Clark. Okay, there's a motion in favor of 27.
Mayor?
There is a second. Councilwoman Stark, please.
Just a quick question about the league. I'm a little concerned because on some bills of recent, I think they put a lot more. I don't know if they've really done their work. And for example, the sober living facilities concerns me a little bit because it ended up just pushing all the requirements and regulations down to cities and towns and counties who really don't have the ability to address issues such as mental health care and things like that. And so I wonder if we could speak to a little bit about the process and how it seems to me that they didn't really listen to the city of Phoenix, and we're going to have a lot of problems, I think, with sober living care. I understand the Federal Fair Housing Act, and I understand there's certain things we need to do, but it seems to me that the state doesn't want to take on the responsibility of regulating these facilities like they regulate foster care and other types of group homes. They pushed it down to the cities and the towns, and I just don't know if they're really doing an effective job. So I want to speak to a little bit about the process and how we work with the league on that. Sober living facilities are a big issue, I know, in my district. I know they're in District 2, I know they're in District 1, and I know they're in District 4.
All right, and Ms. Peters or Mr. McCune, would you address the councilwoman?
Certainly, Mayor, members of the council, Councilwoman Stark. First, as to how the city works with the League of Cities in coordinating our agenda and theirs, Mr. McCune, who is with me, attends regular meetings and briefings with League leadership and staff to articulate our priorities, including the ones that have been most recently adopted by the mayor and council. I'll ask Mr. McCune to talk about that coordination, and then we can address specifically the sober living issue.
And we're bringing that issue directly to them. I know that they looked at it from one perspective last session, and we're directly bringing it back to look at supporting the new initiatives and perspectives that you're working on that will tackle the issues directly for Phoenix. And we're going to work with the league as well to be supportive.
Councilman, please.
My concern is, and I know in that particular bill, that's just one example of a bill, and that it weighed down to they had a city, that Prescott, willing to do it a certain way, yet it seemed to me the majority of cities and towns and even counties were saying that's just not going to work. So I don't understand how the league is helping us.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman Pastor.
So I understand some importances of being with memberships, and they're there to advocate for cities. I feel that the National Leagues, I'm not the National Leagues, the League of Cities, for us, need to really advocate and really need to step up to the plate. Or else, are we really getting the value of our membership? And I have struggled with this back and forth. I was one that continued it. There are some items that I feel are very important to the city, especially some fire issues, and they don't necessarily contact us and ask us our opinion or ask us anything as to why we're so strong on certain issues. And so those are my tidbits regarding this.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman. Any other comments by members of the City Council? Councilman DeCiccio, please.
From my end, I used to not be a big fan of theirs, and still marginal when it comes to that, as you would know. But they have become more reasonable and more working with those that are pro-taxpayer. And I do appreciate that. And so the fact that they've made major movement in that respect, I'll be supporting this, Mayor, because of that reason, that they've literally started to move toward a pro-taxpayer agenda, and I like that. Or at least being more accommodating to those individuals. When people talk about cities, or they make it sound like the cities there are multiple times that they're literally contrary to what most taxpayers would like to see done. And I can cover some of the other items that the cities generally vote against, and you're shocked by it. Like the city of Phoenix passed this huge tax on a small municipal district, on a small group of business owners. Literally passed it through. Legislature stopped it. Those kinds of things. Ballot harvesting, the ability to commit fraud with people's ballots. City government wanted to see and continue that practice, where the state literally stopped them from doing that. Put us in line with the rest of the states in the country. So from my end, I like the fact that they've become more taxpayer-oriented, more willing to listen to the other side. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councilman Pastor. Additional comments?
One of the things that I think as a collective, as we had our discussions yesterday, is looking at, since our pension keeps rising, working as a collective and with cities to really address this with the state. I find it very important. I find it's strapping a lot of the, not strapping, but really hindering a lot of the cities and taking a lot of pieces of the budget. And so I would like to know what we will be doing with the league on how we start this dialogue along with all the other cities.
Mr. McCune.
Mayor, council members, we are actively looking at that, and the thing that we need to acknowledge with the league is that they're as good of a partner as we are with them. We bring and drive the agenda that is important to Phoenix and work with the 90 other municipalities to be a joint group at the Capitol to represent all of our interests. And that strength in the numbers of the cities and towns from across the state is much stronger than just our voice. And that's critical to why I believe the membership at the league is important for us. With the retirement system right now, it's part of protecting our interests and part of our legislative goals to look at those things and actively find solutions. And we're working hand in hand with the league on those things to target them directly.
All right, any other comments? Roll call. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, we had a motion that was in favor of item 27. So in favor of the league dues, we have a second. Roll call.
DeCiccio.
Yes.
Nowakowski.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Stark.
No.
Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring.
No.
Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, so the item passes on a 6-2 vote before this city council. Next item on the agenda is item number 28, which is it's our membership in the Downtown Phoenix, Inc. Do we have a motion on 28, Vice Mayor?
Motion to approve item 28.
We have a motion and a second. We have 2 cards available to speak if requested. Dan Clockey from Downtown Phoenix Partnership, and Dee Dee Barker. We have a motion in favor of 28. We have a second. Any comments by members of this city council? Roll call.
DeCiccio.
No.
Nowakowski.
Yes.
Pastor. Stark.
No.
Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring.
No.
Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, so that item passes on a 5-3 vote before the city council. Next item on the agenda is item number 34, membership in the Association of Housing and Redevelopment Officials.
29.
29, I apologize, 29.
Stand by, Mayor.
We have a motion on item 29.
Motion to approve item 29.
We have a motion on 29. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Mr. Leonard Clark, you have testimony on item number 29.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. I appreciate letting me speak. I live in the city of Phoenix. I'm just here. I'm not saying I'm against it, so I hope you do vote for it. I'm just concerned because I know in the past, I know this is supposed to be for aircraft thermal imaging, and it helps us catch the bad guys when they're trying to escape, that kind of thing. I'm just concerned because I know in the past, and I'm not anti-law enforcement, okay? So I'm right in the middle. I get attacked from both sides. But there were ground units as well that were using some type of thermal units to catch people who were growing marijuana in their homes. They were not using warrants, and I believe the Supreme Court ruled against that because, believe it or not, they actually enforced the Fourth Amendment right to privacy, but that was many years ago. So hopefully this funding is only going to be for the helicopters, but I would like to speak to somebody with staff at some point. I'll call you guys. You know I'm always around, and because I have a lot of friends who are concerned about our Fourth Amendment right to privacy and how it's being weakened, and I just want to make sure that we don't have thermal imaging units being used by the ground law enforcement vehicles without warrants, because that would violate the Constitution, and I just want to make sure that if we do have them, I understand we got to fight the bad guys. Yes, there is an undeclared war on terrorism, but it doesn't give them the right to declare war on our Fourth Amendment right to privacy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have a motion in favor of 29. We have a second. Roll call.
DeCiccio.
Yes.
Nowakowski.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Stark. Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, that item passes unanimously. Next item is item 34. We have a motion on 34.
Motion to approve item 34.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Clark, did you want to provide testimony on 34? No problem. There are no other cards. Any comments by members of this council? Roll call.
DeCiccio. No. Nowakowski.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Stark. Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring. Williams. Mayor Stanton.
Yes, that item passes 6-2. Next item on the agenda is item number 36, an item to approve a new apprenticeship program for Lyona Local 777 to recruit outstanding members to do some important city work. Do we have a motion on 36?
Motion to approve item 36.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any cards on 36? Any comments by members of this council? Roll call.
DeCiccio. No. Nowakowski.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Stark. Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring.
No.
Williams. Mayor Stanton.
Yes, the item passes on a 6-2 vote before the city council. Item 38 is next.
Motion to approve item 38.
We have a second on 38.
Second.
We have a second on item 38. Any cards on 38?
Brief question.
Please, Councilman.
I think they're coming up. I'll start while they're walking. So it's a fair statement, and we've covered this one before in other venues, that this isn't simply art, this is actually a security measure for a well that we're trying to make look nice, effectively.
Mayor, Councilman Waring, indeed, and I will ask Water Services Director Catherine Sorensen to be more specific about that.
Mayor, City Council, yes, so the primary function is beautification of the well site so that our facilities are community amenities, not community eyesores. That's important for us moving forward in the future as we continue to develop our facilities. But the design does include improved fencing as well.
Which is necessary to protect the facility and obviously the public from the facility. Okay, I'm good, thank you.
Thank you very much. Any additional questions or comments? Roll call.
DeCiccio. Yes. Nowakowski.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Look at me.
Yes, that item passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item 39.
Motion to approve item 39.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Mr. Leonard Clark, testimony on 39.
Marking down for 39, are you, what was that on?
Just a moment here.
I apologize, yes, because I didn't mark down on 34, so someone writes as bad as I do because... Oh, I'm sorry, thank you. I did want to speak on that.
Please.
And I do appreciate the councilperson, Michael Nowakowski. I've been hard on him, but very good person, and the kind acts he does in the community. So you're a very nice person. You don't need me to say that. Everybody knows you are. Okay. I just wanted to state that I'm in strong support of this Martin Luther King appropriation, or the support we're giving to this organization of beautiful people remembering the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. But I've been trying and trying, so I'm going to use this as a bully pulpit. It's within the city jurisdiction, the Martin Luther King Monument. I'm asking this organization, if they're watching, it's at the state capitol, it's defaced, you can't read it, and it's what the tourists from around the country and the world come to Wesley Boland Park. It's within the city of Phoenix limits. The monument is defaced to Martin Luther King. You can't read it. So once again, I'm asking anybody out there, Republican, Democrat, I don't care, independent, libertarian, will somebody please fix the Martin Luther King monument at the state capitol? They won't do it at the legislature. It's defaced, it's been vandalized, and it can't be read. I just think that's a terrible symbol. Please, this holiday's coming up. Finally, I was able to say it to you guys because nobody else will listen about it. Go check it out for yourself at Wesley Boland Plaza. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Clark. We have a motion in favor of 39. We have a second. We have no motion yet? Oh, we need a motion on 39. I apologize.
I did make a... Oh, yeah, motion to approve item
Okay, so
39.
Vice Mayor makes a motion, Councilman Pastor seconds. Any additional comments or questions? Roll call.
DeCiccio. Yes. Nowakowski.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, that item passes unanimously. Item 47, a request for reconsideration of item 23 from the last formal city council meeting. You'll get a motion for reconsideration.
I move
I'll
item.
second it.
We have a motion by Councilman Pastor, second by Councilman Nowakowski. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. So next item on the agenda is staff recommended for state representation contract with Ballard Spar. Councilman Nowakowski, you have a motion on 48.
Make a motion to approve staff's recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any comments on 48? Any comments or questions by members of the city council? Roll call.
DeCiccio. No. Nowakowski.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Stark.
No.
Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring. No. Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, that item passes on a 5-3 vote before the city council. Next item on the agenda is item number 51. Do we have a motion on 51?
Mayor, motion to approve item 51.
Do we have a second? Second. We have a motion and a second. Any cards on that item? Councilman Nowakowski, do you have comments or questions on 51? Please.
Yes, Mayor, I have some questions on
Please.
the $50,000 consultant fee for, what's it used for? I thought that a Realtor actually gets commission, and what's the consultant fee for? And is there more than one Realtor that we use to, for the city properties?
Mayor, I'll have our Chief Financial Officer Denise Olson respond to that.
Yes, Mayor, City Council, we haven't spent any money on this contract to date on consulting fees. We've only spent about, at the most, $200,000 only on commissions. And again, this action is just to give us more time to do a procurement.
Denise, the $50,000 request, I think the question is that covering the brokerage fees in the future? What is that $50,000 for?
So the $50,000, it is consulting fees just in case we need it, but we have not used it to date.
And then the other question is, do we have more than one Realtor brokering this city property or not?
At this time, we do not, but this is a contract that allows us, we can go get another broker if needed. So it's not an exclusive contract.
Mayor, Councilman Nowakowski, right now we have Jones Lang LaSalle. This is requesting to extend the time to do a procurement, and the procurement will allow us to have more than one if the council so chooses.
All righty, thank you.
Thank you very much. We have a motion. We have a second. Any additional comments or questions? Roll call.
DeCiccio. Nowakowski.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Stark. Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, so that item passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda, item number 58. We have a motion on 58.
Motion to approve item 58.
Motion and a second. Leonard Clark, comments on 58.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. I am so glad that this item is coming up. I really hope you'll vote for it. Now, I don't have it memorized, but for our indigenous brothers and sisters who were here in North America long before we arrived, their burial spots for their ancestors should be respected. I believe the federal laws that we have passed to return items to tribes, to the different nations, are very, very good laws. I think that the city of Phoenix is doing right, in doing this. And, because unfortunately around the country we have pipelines that are right now at the moment as I speak desecrating our indigenous brothers and sisters, ancestors' grave sites, just like you or I when we protest if a graveyard is to be moved because some greedy person wants to build a development on a graveyard. We don't do that. People can laugh at that, but respecting our ancestors is very important. So I hope that you will vote for this. I know some will say this could impede the primary progress of making money, but money is not everything. Our ancestors should be respected. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have a motion on 58. We have a second. Roll call.
DeCiccio.
Yes.
Noakowski.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Stark. Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, that item passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item number 60. We have a motion on 60.
Motion to approve item 60.
They want to speak only if necessary.
I have questions for Paul Blue.
Okay, so we have a motion, a second. Councilman Waring has a few questions, and then there are folks here to speak if necessary. After we hear the questions and answers, I'll let you determine if it's necessary. Councilman Waring.
I guess maybe I'll start with a statement. You can just tell me if it's true or false. So the whole thing is a Jeeplet now. This is taking away half of that and creating a new project. So that's good. I don't like the Jeeplets, so we're cutting that in half.
Correct.
So the other half, though, is changing the use from office to apartments. And I guess my question is that a new Jeeplet? Are we giving this apartment complex an incentive or an advantage over other apartments? Is that the kind of thing we would normally do a Jeeplet for? I guess those are my first three questions. Might be my last, depending on your answers.
Let me be brief and to the point, and then if there's more detail, I'll ask staff to expand on it or answer additional questions. The first is, this is a high-rise residential project, and it is at a density that we have been supporting in the downtown multiple times with GPLET. The second is, it's a GPLET for the entire block, was authorized by the City Council in 2006. This is amending a use and is consistent with what the council did, I believe, in 2010 to allow for, in the development of the Freeport-McMoran building, to include hotel as an eligible use. So this is similar to that. But currently, the agreement does not provide for multifamily, it provides for office. And so this would be an addition to the use.
Right, so we're changing that part of it.
We would be adding that, and then we are cutting the rental payment in half.
I mean, I guess I am conflicted because I guess if it failed today, I don't think that's going to happen. Eventually, somebody might use the whole Jeeplet, and that's because that's still active, right? Unless we make this change today, that would still be. Ed's nodding his head, but I think that's a fair statement, right?
It is fair to say that the full north half block is eligible for a full Jeeplet, yes.
And now we're making it half of that block.
That's correct, and the east half of what is not in Jeeplet will be paying full property tax in addition to all of the relevant city sales taxes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Any additional comment? Councilman Nowakowski, please.
Just some clarification. There's been other Jeeplets in downtown Phoenix with residential components to it, right?
That is correct.
You know, I just want to say that I really, these are the types of projects that we in downtown Phoenix love to have. The developer came in, met with us, met with the community, and they came out saying that they don't need the whole Jeeplet. I mean, that's just incredible to have somebody saying that we don't need a tax abatement for the whole block. And really, and building an apartment and building a hotel that's really needed for our convention center and all the major events that we're having. So I just want to thank you for being a good partner, for listening to the concerns of the residents in District 7 and the downtown area, and making this all possible. It's a great project.
Thank you very much, Councilman. Other comments by members of the council? All right, Nick, and you and your clients are here. It's up to you whether you want to make it comments or not. You're okay? All right, we have a motion in favor of item number 60. There is a second. Roll call.
Cicio.
No.
Nowakowski.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Stark. Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring.
Mayor, just to briefly explain, I do
Please.
appreciate Councilman Nowakowski's comments. Obviously, I have strong feelings about this and a long history on this particular subject. The funding mechanism, not criticizing in any way the project, so I am a little bit torn. It's going to pass, so I am going to vote no, but I do appreciate it, as Councilman Nowakowski said, the willingness of the developer to work and so forth, even though I'm not rewarding it, so that is probably faint praise. So, but I appreciate the staff too, sort of working through this with me. I appreciate it, so no, thank you.
thought that was a maybe.
Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes. So that's 6 yeses, 1 no, and 1 close no? And how do we
I
how do we
think it
record
was
that? What do we-
considered neutral. Was that neutral?
It was a less nasty no than I usually would throw out there.
All right, for the record, 6-2. Next item on the agenda is item 67. We have a motion on 67.
Motion to approve item 67.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any cards on 67? Any comments by members of the city council? Roll call.
DeCiccio. No. Noakowski.
Yes.
Pastor. Stark. Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring.
No.
Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes. What was that? 6-2. 6-2 vote of city council. Item 67 passes. Item 68, do we have a motion on 68, an IGA with ASU for sustainability partnership agreement?
Motion to approve item 68.
We have a motion. We have a second. Are any cards on 68? Any comments by members of the city council? Roll call.
DeCiccio.
No.
Noakowski.
Yes.
Pastor. Stark. Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring.
No.
Williams. Mayor Stanton.
Yes. That item passes 5-3. Next item on the agenda is item 73. Item 73, Phoenix SkyTrain Stage 2, Designer Technical Consultant Services. Do we have a motion on 73?
Mayor, can I make a motion for 73 and 74?
You may. There's a motion for 73 and 74. Is there a second? We have a motion and a second. Any cards on those items? Any comments by members of the city council? Roll call.
DeCiccio.
Yes.
Noakowski.
Yes.
Pastor. Stark. Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes, that item passes 7-1. Next item is 76, 305 Parking Garage Elevator Modernization Project. Do we have a motion on 76?
Motion to approve item 76.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any cards on the item? Any comments by members of this city council? Roll call.
DeCiccio.
Yes.
Noakowski.
Yes.
Pastor. Stark. Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring. Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Stanton.
Yes. So item 76 passed on a 7-1 vote of the city council. Next item on the agenda is item 97.
Yep.
Item 97 is part of our planning and zoning agenda. The city council did pass a 30-day waiting period before buildings of a certain age could be demolished. In order to facilitate that, there has to be a significant amount of research and processing done. So they're asking for a demolition process fee for historic properties. Would City Clerk please read the title on 97?
Item 97, ordinance G 6254, an ordinance amending Phoenix City Code, Chapter 9, Appendix A.2, Planning and Development Department Fee Schedule, Building Safety Plan Review Fees.
All right. Do we have a motion on 97?
Motion to approve item 97.
We have a motion in favor of 97. Do we have a second on 97? We have a motion, we have a second. Leonard Clark, do you have comments on 97?
And council members, you know, I have a lot of friends in Tucson and other cities, and if you've gone back and forth from Tucson, the folks there do a great job at preserving their town. On the other side of it, others will say, yes, Leonard, the city of Tucson does a great job of preserving their buildings, but look at their economy as compared to Phoenix. And I would respond, well, we don't happen to have the state capitol, you know, right here. We're the state capital. So, you know, we do have that in our favor. And it is sad to see a lot of buildings, people without thinking, developers, a lot of times want to just come in and tear up a building to make money. And I know this gets into the philosophies of capitalism and preservation, but I think we can have both. I think, you know, This society has gotten to the point we tear everything down and then we put up fake buildings, facades, to duplicate what was there, when we could have just kept it there. I even heard that the rodeos, in some rodeos today, the horses are no longer wild, they're already tamed, so they have to teach them to be wild again so they can buck and try to throw the cowboy off. So rather than just trying to destroy some of these buildings that are of historical significance, and those of you who are over 50 years old are starting to realize, you know, the young people understand just how fast time is going by. We need to preserve some things, and I hope that you will vote for it. I understand some of my conservative friends are going to say, wait a second, this could impede development. I think that it will help us because Phoenix has to develop its history, because people talk about Phoenix when they come here that there's no sense of history sometimes, but there is a sense of history. We have a lot of history. Just go to Facebook, Vintage Phoenix. You will see all of the beautiful stories and pictures there. So I hope you will vote for this. Again, I know there'll probably be a few nay votes saying that it's impeding development, but I think the developers can understand that we can still have great economic progress in the city of Phoenix if we don't throw everything out. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clark. So we have a motion in favor of 97. We have a second. Any comments or questions by members of the city council? Roll call.
DeCiccio.
No.
Noakowski.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Stark. Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring. Williams. Mayor Stanton.
Yes, so I think 5-3. 5-3 vote, that item passes. We're now on to item number 98. Item number 98 is a proposed zoning change at the northwest corner of 27th Avenue in Vineyard Drive. The order of action here will be a staff report by our planning director. Then I'll open up a public hearing and take any public testimony we have under 98. And then we'll close the public hearing and see if there is a motion after having that public hearing. So with that, I'll hand over to Alan Stevenson to see if he has a staff report on item number 98.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. This request is a planning hearing officer request to modify stipulations for a 10.38 acre parcel that is approximately 360 feet north of the northwest corner of 27th Avenue and Vineyard Drive. It's shown on red up here on the site, on the aerial you see. You see there's a school to the north. Predominantly surrounding this area is more typical suburban residential, and then larger lot residential and a mix of uses in that area as well. This site was rezoned to R3A multifamily back in 2004. The request is to modify stipulations of that zoning case that is R3A on the site. The Levine Village Planning Committee first heard this case. They recommended denial by a 9-0 vote. The planning hearing officer then also recommended denial of the application. The applicant appealed the application to the Planning Commission and made some subsequent changes to their request. They dropped it from 106 units down to 102 units of a proposed off-site manufactured dwelling complex. You see the site plan shown here before you. There are 2 units in each of these buildings that are shown here, and you see the open space and amenities that they have proposed on this site plan. Once they made that change, they went back to the Levine Village Planning Committee. They heard the case again. They voted 7-1 to approve it, subject to some new stipulations. It then went to the Planning Commission, where the Planning Commission approved it, subject to modified stipulations from the Levine Village Planning Committee. There were a number of stipulations that were unenforceable and staff could not support. Subsequent to that, staff did have a meeting with a couple members of the Village Planning Committee as well as the applicant, and a revised memo came out earlier today excuse me, with some additional stipulations as part of that request. Those stipulations address things like traffic speeding as well as a compliance with the crime-free multi-housing program that's administered by the police department and are in the backup memo that you all received as part of the backup packet. With that, staff is happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions for Mr. Stevenson, either now or we can hold the public hearing, and then at the end of the public hearing, obviously any questions members of the council can be asked of Mr. Stevenson at that time. Okay, thank you very much for the staff presentation. Now I'm going to open up the public hearing on item number 98. Public hearing is now open. We have a few cards on this item. Each speaker will have up to 2 minutes to provide testimony, but since there actually is only three cards, so more time if needed, a little bit more than that. Grady Gamage, did you provide testimony in favor of item 98? You also have James Deibler in favor, followed by Carlos Ortega, who is opposed to item number 98. Mr. Gamage.
Mayor, members of the council, for your record, my name is Grady Gamage Jr. My address is 2 North Central in Phoenix, and I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Joel Broder from VisitQuest Properties, and the property owner as well. This case sounds really complicated because it's bounced around a lot. Let's go back. Okay. So I want to briefly reiterate some of what Mr. Stevenson said and then talk about where we are on the stipulations at this point. The case initially at its core, this is a request to modify stipulations on existing multifamily zoning to decrease the height of the proposed project by cutting it in half and by cutting the number of units by a third. So it's a request to modify an existing set of stipulations to cut from 2- and 3-story buildings down to 1 story, and to cut from 156 units to 102. My client initially assumed that that wouldn't be a big deal to make that much of a cut, and so he went to the Levine Village Planning Committee and frankly was surprised by the reaction. And the reaction, I think, was a reaction against multifamily at this location in general, but it is zoned for multifamily uses. So he got an initial recommendation of denial. At that point, we went to Councilmember Gallego, whose district this is, to talk to her about it. She said, you got to go back to the village. You got to persuade them that what you're doing is a good thing. And so we went back then, as Alan noted, to the Village Planning Committee. And at that point, the Village Planning Committee, based on a whole new set of stipulations that we came up with about the site, voted 7-1 in favor of the case. That was the context in which then in November it went to the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of the case and added the stipulations that we had worked on with the Village Planning Committee, except that the staff had a concern about the enforceability of many of those stipulations. So the Planning Commission modified a number of those stipulations. That concerned the Village Planning Committee. And so we have worked back and forth with staff to try to make the stipulations more enforceable. It was at that point headed for ratification by the City Council. No one had appealed the case from the Planning Commission unanimous recommendation. But we pulled it because we wanted to try to work the stipulations out. He showed you the site. This is the original 2004-2005 elevations and site plan. Some of the changes which we made, in addition to cutting the number of units after the first Village Planning Committee, were to beefing up the open space and amenity area, developing elevations that had more of a rural theme, working with the school that is next door to create a pass-through so kids can come back and forth without going on to the street and can use the community center for after-school activities, and adding traffic control and bike storage. This was then the concern about the enforceability, and here are some examples of the enforceability issues. With the village, we had said, we'll work on more rural themes. Staff said, yeah, it's pretty vague, guys. Let's try to make it more specific. There is the language regarding pitch roofs, flat shingles, more specific language. The traffic calming devices, again, seemed too vague, so we specified a minimum of 4 speed humps to be added. The one concern has been that this has been proposed as a low and moderate income tax credit project. It may not wind up being that. There's a lot of flux in that area of the government right now, but that has been the intent. And there was concern about a package of stipulations about management and crime prevention. Where that wound up was with the language that you see here about staff, a City of Phoenix program about crime-free certification. This stipulation change is to be sure that the units have a stem wall underneath them. These are modular manufactured units that is permitted by the building code in R3A. They are not manufactured housing or mobile homes. They're modular construction units. So that is most of the stipulations that we worked out. There's one quirk in the stipulations, and that is I think, a typo by staff. We had asked at Planning Commission that what is numbered stipulation 14, that specifies a specific percentage of open space, be deleted because it's probably in conflict with the site plan, which we're stipulated to. The Planning Commission agreed to do that, to delete that stipulation. It is shown that way in the addendum to your agenda, but in the memo staff issued today, it got back in. So we're content with the stipulations as they appear in the staff memo which came out today, but would recommend the deletion of 14. So as it comes before you, this is a request to cut the height, cut the density. It has a recommendation of approval by the Levine Village Planning Committee and a unanimous recommendation of approval from the Planning Commission. I'm glad to answer any questions you have. We think we did everything that Councilmember Gallego asked us to. Of course, for reasons we all understand, she's not here today, so I can't tell you exactly where she would be if she were, but we tried to comply with her request that we go back and get village support. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gamage. Any questions by members of this council for Mr. Gamage at this time? All right, next speaker will be James Deibler. Did you provide testimony on this item, Mr. Deibler?
Hello, I am James Deibler. I like the idea about a living garden because it helps people work and play. I like the dog park and the proposal so the dogs can play with the people. And Levine Gardens will be a good project for the city of Phoenix because it will benefit the community very well. Thanks for the time and consideration.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deibler, for your testimony. Mr. Carlos Ortega, did you provide testimony for the city council? Good to see you.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council members. My name is Carlos Ortega. I'm a resident of the Levine area for 15 years. I'm also a member of the Village Committee, Planning Committee, and I'm here today to oppose the project. First of all, I would ask each one of you members to ask, would you want a modular development near your property or close to your property? The zoning that was previously appointed was apartments that were fixed into cement. At the same time, this density of this program or this project, there's going to be a variety of family members living there, and I'm just concerned about how secluded and how close this project is going to be. The other thing too is that there was, as it was mentioned, the stipulations that were, and you worked hard to get these stipulations put in there, but there are several stipulations that can't be enforced on this project. Yes, our members did vote no initially, and I was one that opposed it. I mean, we all opposed it because of the density and, of course, things that we believe was important for this community. There was also other representatives at that meeting that were opposed to the project. The second time they came and proposed it based on Vice Mayor Gallego, with the stipulations, the committee said yes, except for myself, because I didn't believe that the community, surrounding community members were able to, well, they could have been notified. The thing is that they left from the first meeting understanding that we voted no for it. So they were probably at peace in mind that this project had been turned down and it was brought back. And it was brought back in between maybe an appeal process. So that was my concern about how the community, surrounding community, would have reacted to the yes votes at that time. Again, I oppose this, and my question to all you is, would you want a modular home community built next to you? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ortega. Is anyone else here in the audience wishing to provide testimony on item number 98? Going once, going twice. The public hearing is now closed. I'll now turn to members of the City Council to see if you have any questions for Mr. Stevenson Mr. Gamage or any of the folks that provided testimony before this city council. Are there any questions or comments? Councilman Williams, do you have a question?
I do, Mr. Gamage. Were the notifications sent out to all the surrounding neighbors?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Did you send the notifications of the second meeting with the committee changing the stipulations to all the neighbors?
I don't think so. The second meeting was not a formal referral back by the Planning Commission, so we had requested to appear there. I do not think a notification went out to neighbors about that meeting.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Councilwoman Vice Mayor Gallego is not able to be with us here today. Normally, the council member for the area would make a motion on a case in his or her district, although I think District 7 is really close by. So I think with that principle in mind, I'll hand over to Councilman Nowakowski to see if any comments or even a motion.
And Mayor, before redistricting, it was actually in District 7, this piece of property. Over the last week or so, we've been getting phone calls. I've been bumping into individuals out in the Levine area, and some of the concerns that they were having was just the whole individual, not having individual yards, having duplex type of a product, and it really doesn't fit what the advocates and the community out there in Levine is really wanting to see what Levine would be in the future. So with all that, and a lot of people were kind of upset because they weren't invited to the Second Village meeting, and they felt like it was some type of, that we as the city of Phoenix were in cahoots in trying to push this project through. So I told them that they should write letters, they should call council members, and they should show up to this meeting and protest or in favor of the project. So with the conversations I had out there in the community and with the long-term impact that I believe that this project would have on the Levine Village and the continuous build-out with the new 202 freeway going out there, I will be voting no on this and ask for a denial of this request.
All right, the motion from Councilman Nowakowski is to deny the request. Do we have a second on that motion? We have a second on that motion. I'll now turn to council members if they have any comments or questions on the motion made by Councilman Nowakowski. Councilman Pastor, please.
In reading my report, Mr. Stevenson, it states right here, July 1, recommended denial. July 20th, planning hearing officer, denial. And then November 3rd, Phoenix Planning Commission, denied. But then I heard it got passed. Did it go back through the village?
Stevenson, can you explain the kind of the procedural processes that this case has been through?
Mayor, Councilwoman Pastor, for a planning hearing officer request, there is in addition to the normal village planning commission city council, there's a planning hearing officer staff person who makes a decision as well, and that decision is appealable through the process. And so what happened in this case was the village initially denied it. Then it went to the planning hearing officer where it was also denied. At that time, the applicant went and met with Councilwoman Gallego to talk about the case, and her, I think, comments were along the lines of, well, you really need to work with the village and try and get them to be supportive of that case. So they went back to the village. It's not part of the formal process, but the applicant was trying to earn the support of the mayor and council at the end of the day, so they went back to the village prior to then coming to the planning commission. And then I think the reason why it's somewhat confusing is the planning commission recommended denial of the planning hearing officer request, which was to deny that application. So the effect was that they approved it with the new stipulations that were modified by staff because of enforceability from some of those ones presented at the village.
Got it. But
If I might-
originally it was denied throughout the whole process.
Correct.
Okay.
If I might add
Mr. Gamage, please.
brief amendment to that. I would note that the Planning Commission hearing was fully advertised. There were people there in support and in opposition, so there was a full hearing at the Planning Commission. And the only Planning Commission vote was a recommendation of approval of the case, denial of the hearing officer's denial of the case. So it is confusing.
Mayor?
Councilman Noakowski, please.
So after the village, after that whole process and denial after denial after denial, then they brought it back to the village, and this is where individuals were kind of upset and angry, saying that we put some stipulations there that were enforceable, and that the city's saying basically all the recommendations from the village asking for safe neighborhoods or other things that they put in there, that we couldn't enforce it as a city of Phoenix. So some of the commissioners were upset, saying, then why do you even have a village? Why do you even have us as commissioners making recommendations to developers if we have no type of enforcement? So I said, well, there's things that we as a city can enforce and other things that we can't. So we actually had a meeting with some of the commissioners that were confused on the enforcement aspect of a village commissioner. And I think it was yourself, Alan, that met with them and tried to clear that up. And there's still some angry commissioners out there in the Living Village that feel that their stipulations and their recommendations aren't enforceable.
Mayor, Councilman Noakowski, that is correct. I held a meeting with the applicant's team as well as a couple of the village planning committee members to talk about those issues back in December.
So some of these commissioners just said, you know, council member, I have to vote yes because it's unenforceable, our recommendations and stipulations. So our hands are tied and we just give up. You guys do whatever you want as a city. I said, no, that's not the right way of working a village. Let's work this out. Let's sit down around the table and explain to you what your roles are. And that's where Alan actually had that meeting and explained it to our commissioners, and I think things are worked out now. But that's why you had a 7-to-1 vote at that village.
Thank you very much, Councilman. Mr. Gammon, you have a comment?
Yeah, my comment is simply that what Councilman Noakowski describes is what we have tried to do. We did sit down after the Planning Commission modification. We did sit down in a meeting that Alan called with a couple members of the village, worked through and modified, as I showed you, the stipulations to try to get them to where the staff is comfortable, that we've gone as far as we can toward the village steps and make them enforceable. And we actually got an email from the chairman of the village saying, thank you for doing this. We appreciate it. We look forward to the project. Now, that's just one village member, but we hope we're back most of the way, if not all the way, to where the 7-to-1 vote of the village was in favor of the project.
All right, thank you very much. Any additional comments or questions by members of the City Council? Having heard testimony by the applicant as well as individual opposed to the item after hearing our city professional staff report. All right, with that, then we'll take, the motion was opposed, so that'll be the motion that's on the table in opposition to the matter. Roll call.
DeCiccio. Noakowski.
Yes.
Pastor. Stark.
No.
Valenzuela.
No.
Waring.
No.
Williams. Mayor Stanton.
Yes? Okay, so it failed. The motion to deny failed 5-2. Councilman DeCiccio was not present for the vote. Okay, so now is there a motion, a different motion to put on the table? Anyone want to make a motion to move forward? Councilman Pastor had a question. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
So the motion, the previous
What was the
motion.
motion?
The motion was to deny. That motion failed 5-2. So a no vote was a vote in opposition of the denial. Right. So Councilman Nowakowski was making a recommendation in opposition to the case, and that failed 5-2. Did you want to change your vote?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm a yes.
Okay,
Mayor,
a yes to Michael Nowakowski's motion, or yes to the case? Because Michael
I'm
Nowakowski
confused.
Councilman Nowakowski is in opposition to the case.
I'm in opposition to the case.
Okay, so it was confusing, and we'll make sure that, can someone who was, let's see, Mr. City Attorney, it's obvious that we had a council member who was confused on the item. She obviously declared it immediately afterwards. Do we have to
And make a
formally
new
go through a
motion?
reconsideration, or can I recount the vote now that there's been a clarification as to what the vote is?
You can call for a revote.
Okay, so I will call for a revote so everyone can get on the record what their position is. Councilman Nowakowski has voted to, or has made a motion to deny
The application.
the application.
Okay.
Okay, so a yes vote is a yes to deny
The application.
the application, correct? Okay, so who was the second on the motion?
Councilman Williams.
Councilman Williams. Councilman Williams was a second, so you were in agreement that you want to continue to second the motion to deny? Okay. Any questions? I apologize for there being confusion.
I think you're making us more confused, Mayor.
Okay.
But, so the point is, Councilman Nowakowski made a motion to deny. It was seconded by Councilman Williams, and I believe there was a general confusion. My motion, when I stated no, was to also deny, meaning I should have said yes.
Correct.
Like, I believe perhaps the majority of those who voted.
A yes vote on the motion was to disapprove the
Correct.
item.
Right.
So you clarifying, Mr. Holm, that the mayor can have a revote, perhaps?
Yes.
That's what we should do.
We don't need a motion for reconsideration, that's the point. All right, so I'm calling for a revote. Now, if you want to deny the case, then you vote yes. If you support the case, then vote no. Okay.
Thanks, Mayor.
We have a motion for denial. We have a second. Roll call.
DeCiccio. Nowakowski.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Stark.
No.
Valenzuela.
Yes.
Waring. No. Williams. Mayor Stanton.
Yes. So Councilman Nowakowski's motion passes on a 5-2 vote before this city council. That's our last item we have on today's agenda. There being no further business before this city council. Today's meeting is adjourned.